Um, a while ago, I was shamed that I kind of wrote letter to Putin, and I wrote letter to Trump, and some people tried to get me in a position to look like a gold digger. Um, and this is um, it's kind of a short story, um, but it's really important to me because of the situation. um, I had to I had to go through. A few months ago, I did a video. It was in Russian on my other channel, about my quest in a way to look for my father's nuclear research. And the reason was really simple. I just want a chunk of it, not the research itself because it's hard to get, but some of the financial proceedings I can do. Because there's a situation recently that I'm before a family catastrophe in a way. And you see, sometimes you can get, especially if you're a Gangstalk, for instance, you can get into situations where the only thing that can help you is injections of funds, which will mellow down the situation you're in, or it will help you to kind of move on right away, or change and make a selection of things that you couldn't without injection of those funds. So I will just simply show you an example. What happening, as I said, is I'm kind of before family catastrophe. Maybe I will avoid it, maybe not. But I will talk about what I'm actually going through right now. I'm not complaining, but because it's old thing. So I will tell you very fast about my mother. She's a former scientist who worked for the Soviet Space Center when she was young. Then she was a teacher a lot of places. She's electronics, PhD in electronics, and she worked in Africa, the country of Angola, during the Civil War and the war with South Africa. And for the last 32 years, 33 years, we live in the United States, and she was about 25, 27 years a professor of electronics in one of the colleges in Salt Lake City. When she was estranged from everybody. Something here in Atlanta happened to her. She ended up in the hospital. She ended up scared, and she ended up with a mix of chemicals, which is three prescription drugs that gave her wrong. Uh, so they gave her wrong symptoms for Parkinson. We ended up getting on time, and upon return to Salt Lake City, um, in 2017, she ended up in the hospital, and actually we had to put her in detox because the doctor suggested actually to clean her up from those medical prescriptions. And unfortunately, it was a very big price tag. So this is the age exactly where it's decisive when we are talking about government sponsorship. You see some of the groups of people, they have access to healthcare, as I said, but not just simple access, but the free access. Some programs in Medicaid, they had you don't pay, you don't have any deductible, and for instance, if you're on Medicare, you have uh, not just you pay monthly, then you have medic. When you go to a medic, you have a deductible up to sometimes several $1,000s. So see what's happening. You have people in the United States that have access, as I said, to free health care, and not just free health care. I knew people who never worked in their lives, and they were getting by the end, before their retirement or on retirement, absolutely same amount of money uh, from Social Security, supplemental security, and they had access to Medicaid. How it works, I don't know yet, even though I live here 32 years. But my mother, for instance, who worked as all her life here in the United States for the last 32 years, do not have access like this. She was denied access to any type of programs. When she ended up in the hospital in Salt Lake City, there was momentarily a gentleman came and said, yeah, you do not qualify. So first spend all of your pension funds, then you can qualify. So and yet when I tried to qualify her last week to a program that doesn't have that has zero deductible and zero payment monthly, I was told that she cannot take it anything, and I don't know why yet. I presume that it's because they usually work on information from last year. So de facto, you can work all your life and then spend everything on your healthcare in the end of your life, right? Or you can not work at all and still get the free ride. So de facto in the United States, this system doesn't provide incentive or provides incentive for people to hide money very early. In order, there's a private investigators when they're dealing with Medicaid that actually look for your wealth, and they're really good at this. This way, people cannot cheat or anything. This way, it tells you two things. You either be really rich and don't care about healthcare and you pay for whatever, cash, or pay whatever you qualify, like insurance and so on, and which sometimes is unbelievably expensive. And the other thing is you have to be really poor that you can go and apply for help from the government, but it's on the other hand, as I said, it kills the incentive of people to work. Biggest number of people is actually middle class, and the middle class, when they go to a specific level, they no longer can collect, and they no longer can have enough resources, even though, as I said, they would live nice and everything. And you see, again, people try to represent middle class like really, really rich. Actually, it's not. They'll talk about, if you make more than $250,000, like everybody makes $250,000. So the system, practically, you're like you have to work, collect, don't spend, and then in the end, take all your money, whatever you did not spend or didn't enjoy, and then spend it on how to, not to look like you have Parkinson or something. Okay. So if we look at it like a flow chart, right? You will have, when you work, don't invest or hide the money somewhere, because after time comes, those money will be target if you get sick. And not just that, you will have to sell your property, and so on and so on. There was a joke about it. Why Canadians are so happy people? Because, in the end of their parents' lives, they don't have to sell your mother's house to pay for your mother's medical bills. Well, sounds really close to the heart. So, as I said at the beginning, I was shamed to try to collect, and my aim, my goal, to collect some of my father's research, and I don't understand the reason why, because every single healthcare in the United States, every single thing in general, it costs massively. And if somebody owes you money or use your, anyway, inherited right for a specific thing, they have to share. You know what I mean? And imagine this as well. You have small things financially, they end up actually big or multiplied. For instance, if you apply somewhere and you wanted $2 more, and this $2 more actually in the end of the month, it's $320. So what's $320? $320, it's a new car payment, okay? That you can travel safely on the highway. Or it's $320 can be good addition to an area to live in, like homeowners association fees are higher, so you can live in a better neighborhood, more safe neighborhood, that nobody will break in your new car that you can be paying. So my point really is simple. If you are uh, not just in need, whatever is yours, and there's a lot of people that will try to represent your um, your thing that it's yours and you want it back, as they'll present you as some kind of a creep. And not just that, actually there is on the internet there is a um, whole bunch of people that do that, because for instance it's cheaper when they steal stuff from people. Okay, like they stole my father's nuclear research. It's much cheaper to spend 30 plus $1,000 to set the person up, for instance, or do something that it's really damaging to this person, than return the money. So, and not just that, if you have a whole bunch of people that go after everyone who complains, you know, it's much cheaper to keep a department of this thing, but not to return whatever was stolen. It's a business, and sometimes this business, I would call it militarized. So those people are mercenaries. They are not your friends. They can get your friendship on Facebook to monitor whatever you do. And sometimes when time comes, when you put your stuff out, they will discredit you in any way. Of course, they will try, like they did in the past, to frighten you, to kind of intimidate you, to make that you cannot find employment, just to press you over. But yet, one day they still have to do kind of a right thing. Um, I hope I survive by then.